Hello and welcome. It's episode 61 of Cometh the Fall. Hello, everybody. Hello, Nadam, Dancer, Skullthrone, Couch, Texas, Merle, Zaven, Lord Conan, Fundin, Warlord, Legion, Lurker. Hello, everybody. Hopefully you all are having a fantastic Friday. I know I am, because I get to play D&D. Hey, Ruffian. Hello again. Looks like stream is taking a little bit of a hit, but hopefully we will be able to persevere through it. Don't got work today, so I've got your stream to listen to? Hell yeah. Nice. Very good. We are just giving the players a moment to get themselves situated, to get their snacks, their drinks, their water, all of that fun stuff in order before we jump right into it. Get introduced to the players and get introduced to who they are. Hey, R. Waiting for stream to fix itself. My God, this thing is struggling right now. It is not having a good time. Marley, thank you very much for the 6 months. My God, with your Prime Gaming. Incredibly kind of you. Thank you so much for sticking around for half a year, no less. Holy shit. Incredibly kind. Hey, Jublin. How goes it? Oh, having a meltdown, I see. Very well. Well, hopefully you are able to find some comfort. We're in the buffer zone? Oh. It looks like it may have cleared itself up a little bit. We good, chat? I will take your staunch silence as a yes. It did? Dope. Okay. Ooh, there might be a bit of a delay. I think there might have been a delay with that really long like buffering that was going on with OBS. So again, hello. In case it was buffering and people, in case people weren't like able to hear me or anything like that, Marla, thank you very much for the 6 months with your Prime Gaming. Incredibly kind of you. Hello, Jiblain. I'm glad that it goes. I turned off low latency mode and it got better, so I guess delay is better than buffering. Okay. Seems all good? Nice. Okay. We are going to jump right in. I've given my players enough time to get themselves situated. We're going to hop over, transition over, and sort of get into the game. You will notice behind me the void, bereft of life. However, as all of you chatters talk and chat, your words will be captured, recorded for all future VOD watchers and all future YouTube watchers in perpetuity. If you have anything you would like to say to your future self, any words of wisdom, now is the time to say so. You will notice below me the cast, our lovely friends and players who will be playing in today's game. We're about to go get introduced to them. Give them a heads up, a little bit of a courtesy warning, so to speak. Then, unmute. Here we go. Gamers.
So then I started blasting, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Same.
Hi.
How goes it, everybody?
Who are you?
Who am I? I'm glad you asked.
God.
What are you?
I need you to roll initiative is what I am.
Oh, fuck, not again.
Dream sequence, baby.
God,
Oh, hell yeah.
I knew I should have kept my clothes on.
Said nobody ever.
How's everybody's Friday been thus far?
It worked, so.
I mean, I'm here, so it's better. Smile.
Suck up.
Good. I'm done with all my testing and stuff, so my heart's not going a million miles a minute anymore.
Nice.
Hey, Sizzle, you got a little brown on your nose.
It's been revealed today that Dark and Darker is back, so it's a good fucking day.
My work just is paying to send me back to school, so that's kind of cool.
Oh, neat.
Like, you will become a wizard at Microsoft Excel. I'm like, but I'm already a wizard. They're like, no, like Voldemort wizard. I'm like, interesting.
The bad guy. You become the bad guy. That's cool.
Anybody who deals with Excel is the bad guy by default.
I shall destroy jobs everywhere with these small boxes.
Yes.
I got the can on my toe.
What the frick?
Yeah, she brutalized herself.
What?
Oh,
yeah,
no.
but all the painting is done. Teehee.
Your blood?
Are you on the
talking
phone?
Sounds like you're talking into a can.
Get over it.
No.
Are you on your phone right now?
Yes, my freaking thing needed an update, okay? Just ignore it.
Okay. Well, we're going to get introductions out of the way. We're going to go down the line. You're going to introduce your character, who you are, who you're playing. And then at the very end, we're going to figure out who recounted last week and who's going to be recounting this week. And we're going to start with Alaric.
That's right, with Alaric. Greetings, mainlanders. I am Alaric Cravain, half-elven warrior of Shelier, a barbarian, cursed with the spirit of the beast, born in the island home of Karim. I've just returned to my friends from a small foray out in Rawfield, where the vision scene of Blake's death plagued the mind of his father, his mother, his family. I spoke to them at length of the truth. It took some convincing, some probing, explaining. But things have been finally set right, and now back, I plan to do the same here. By hammer and claw, we will carve out the rot of this land and restore the order of the herds and nature.
Hello, I'm Ashilda Ironhands, Arcana Cleric of Ioun and Scribe Wizard. I've come to the quick realization, though, that the life of Crafter and Tharkensteep may be a wee bit simpler than the path I've set myself on. I still wouldn't change it, though. I want to improve the way of casting that I've found, and I will forever be grateful to the Knowing Mistress for finding it. I want to keep growing both as a servant of Ioun and a scholar, and I hope the truth in my words finds purchase and not cast aside due to my station.
I play Kellen Aldane as a variant human ranger and a member of the Grey Watch, the militant organization that fights in the wilderness to protect Tyros from monstrosities and other threats. Now, no longer a lawn ornament, hopefully resume being able to keep his party safe down the wilds.
Greetings. I am Morana Lamordia, level 6, Dampier rogue with strange powers in connection to the dead. I have only recently learned that people like me have a name, a spirit caller, the Night Maidens have called it. Hopefully, with those revelations out of the way, I can figure out what to do with this newfound power far and away from my home of Malgrove. But first, there are creatures to hunt.
Greetings. I am Cyril von Ashford, daughter of House Ashford's Swan Blades. I am a level 5 high elf fighter who finds beauty in every battle. And I would lay my life on the line for house and home. I endeavor to seek truth and to uphold the ideals of Tyros. Alongside my companions, I will stop at nothing to find out why all of this is happening and how we can make a change. Be that change.
Well met, spectators and onlookers. I am Yuri Zaire, the heir of Shademore in the province, continent of Creso. I am the level 4 sorcerer, level 2 hexblade. Having recently improved. Originally coming here to Tyros to discover the lost history of my people in Shademore, I have instead found myself on a mission of self-discovery and survival, surrounded by those who were once convicts, now, perhaps, people I consider friends. In our attempts to survive the machinations of the Iron Duke, I have put aside my mission, located, according to certain sources, in the faraway lands of Grimwald, for the more practical and somewhat more backwoods objective of our current hunts and the aid of Elion. Also, I'm human, smile.
Thank you.
I'm also level 6.
That's debatable, the whole human part.
Who
I mostly-
recounted last week?
Oh, it's the mostly human.
Please pick somebody to recount this week.
Oh, Sparks.
Yeah. The fight with the basilisks and their grotesque spawn now concluded. We had real the situation. Kellen was now a statue. We set off in haste. Silveril securing Kellen and riding with him in the back, and Cole carrying me and keeping an eye on Kellen to keep him from toppling over out the back. After some travel, the trees began to shake and the ground rumble, and from the trees a cyclops. After a bit of deliberation and Silveril while communicating, the cyclops carried Kellen like a wee babe, Silveril overseeing to make sure there were no happy accidents. Traveling further, we ran into a well-kept hobgoblin and his companions, riding upon wolves, speaking quite eloquently and in common, informing us of very large creatures flying about. After a bit, we parted ways once again, continuing on, before our attention was once again stolen by an odd ogre and a rather large boar. Agro and Morak, they said their names were. Speaking for some time about people in blue and a witch or something of the like, we decided to set off, but those markings on all of them intrigued me. I really do hope to find them again and speak with them. Finally arriving back in town, we hurried to Reynolds, leaving Ott, I do believe the Cyclops' name was, at the border of town, and Nerea came with us. Reynold, answering the door, was taken aback by the sight of Nerea, and Nerea was taken aback by the sight of Reynold. They know each other. In fact, they just kept staring at each other. Snapping back to the task, though, I decided to stay out with Cole while the others ushered Kellen down to the basement. And there was a loud crack. I rushed in to see what was going on, and Reynold and Nerea were kissing. This being too much to me, I ran back upstairs. Gathering up with everyone, though, we did end up headed over to the Singing Tear again, and we ran into what I thought was a Leon, and I was wrong, terribly wrong. He was Ravon, advisor to the Rowfield house dragon, and given my station, he cared not. And it was a wee bit aggravating and vague about Alaric's condition when asked. But after pleasantries and more vagueness, we entered the tavern, and there was Alaric. And my legs started moving of their own accord, and I hugged him. And then I saw Cole, who fell to his knees beseeching Gerald to teach him. Alaric even started alluding that we were replacing him. Never. And the words just started pouring out of my mouth. Alaric, stupid grin on his face, eventually moved on to Silveril, speaking with her, and she just was too tired. We all were. But at least he's back. Having a small conversation with the Dragonborn Warren, it's nice to have somebody else who reveres the gods around. Letting them know the events that transpired, we eventually retired to rest. Awaking in the morning, and Kellen was restored. But I had things to discuss with Alexander Duskbrand. Arriving at the tower, I was greeted by Finn, and he escorted me to Mr. Duskbrand. And I started going over the symbols that I found on those pillars when we were dealing with the Sun Killers. He set me to task on finding out more information on the symbols that we couldn't identify, and then I informed him of the visions. He alluded that I might be mistaken, that it might just be a play from the creatures that we are around. But authority wouldn't have corrected me if it was just that. He wouldn't have given us the truth. And I hope that Duskbrand takes my words to heart, and that they all see the truth of it. Because if it's as dire as he says, they need to listen.
Thank you. With Ashilde in Mr. Duskbrand's tower, the older wizard sat behind his desk, would very gently close the tome in front of him. Turning, he would place it back into the bookshelf. I need to confirm some suspicions with my companions. This will require more time. Your companions and you're going back out into the wilderness to hunt a basilisk or some such, yes?
Apparently for the third time, second for me.
Go do that. Go hunt the creature, kill it. Be what you are. I need time to confer with my allies. You'll be out of the way speaking with... You can see that he's sort of rambling now. You would watch as he's reaching down to his desk, sort of in a drawer that you can't see, and he's rummaging through things. He would produce what looks to be this sort of very wide metal cylinder, and he would watch as he sets it down onto the counter, or onto the desktop, and sort of closes the drawer, and then would reach for another and begin producing what appears to be like this very brightly glowing piece of white chalk. And as he's rambling, he's sort of forgotten that you're there, and is just sort of muttering to himself now, as you would watch as he begins to sort of scrawl out these marks.
Mr. Duskbrand, just keep in mind, when that vision happened, I prayed to Ayun and authority came down, the servitor. If it was mistaken, I do not think she would have let that happen. I'll leave you to it, and I'll go back out.
Finn, sort of watching, almost as caught in this sort of trance, seeing Duskbrand moving the way that he is, and it isn't until for like a moment or two that Finn sort of acknowledges you again. He goes, "Oh, all right, yeah," and then would walk over to the door, open it for you, and allow you out.
Thank you very kindly, Finn. Keep on working on your cantrips and everything.
Oh, I don't think we're doing cantrips today.
Neither do I. But keep practicing. Just don't give up. I didn't.
There's a nod from the young warrior jar, who would then close the door. I assume you would eventually make your way back to the party.
Yes, thinking over a lot of things, because the fact that it set him to that state has her a wee bit concerned. So she's like tugging at her hair, like because her hair's not in that bun, it's down in the braid. She's just kind of like fidgeting with it as she walks, almost nervously.
Okay. Meeting back with the party. At this point, it would be... Let me double check my notes. With you going off to see Duskbrand, it would be about 10 o'clock in the morning now. Breakfast is being served here for all of you who are finally awake or out of the bath. And you are treated to a very hearty, very well-cooked breakfast, something you haven't had in quite some time. Is there anything the party would like to do this morning?
Yes. Well, people gather at the table. Alaric would have pointedly brought about his backpack. And he'd have waited for everybody to eat first. And then once everyone's meal is finished, he would have stood up, gazed at everyone with this knowing grin, and say, I'd like to say something. It'll be very quick. And then I'd like to give you all something that I've brought with me from home, if that's all right.
Cyril would kind of like she's been caught in a daze of just the food in front of her. She's like that image of closed eyes, jaw moving, happy, right? Just this. In the moment that your voice, Alaric's voice, permeates that, she just looks up, like the right side of her mouth a little ajar, like, huh? And she just smiles up at him.
Something from your home, like a souvenir?
I imagine that Alaric was seated beside Cyril, and now he's propped up his foot on the bench beside her and reached across to lay his great hand on her shoulder while looking to Morana. That's right. I've brought some things from Rofield, just to show my appreciation, I suppose. An apology. In objects, maybe.
Callan is resting, has set down his utensils and is resting his chin in his hands. He's tired, but he's listening.
So, parsing a look at each gathered face, his chest sort of swells with this pride to see his friends on the table, to have their attention, almost as though it returns the vitality to his features. And he pulls up the flap of his backpack, reaches through, rummages a little bit, and he fishes out the first object. And I'm actually going to roll. Let that define the order of things. Ooh. Ashilda's not here, is she?
She got back at this point, right?
I said she'd have made it back. So when you all are eating breakfast.
All right. So what Alaric produces is a kind of wooden squared box, rather crude on the outside. And it has some mortar clinging to it, like it was unearthed from some cave or something. And he lays it on the table, slides it across until it's in front of her, and holds out an open palm, motioning to it, waiting for her to interact with it.
Ashilda would cant her head and look at him. I really hope nothing pops out of here and scares me. Otherwise, I'm going to be very, very upset. And she'll slide the box in front of her and open it.
I promise you.
Constitution saving throw.
I don't want my good. I don't want my good. I don't want.
Never mind.
Alaric's bag of cursed objects.
This better not be a trap. Of course not. Opens it.
He's
It's a
just
trap.
pulling out a deck of many things each time he draws.
I'm also the bringer of gifts. Oh, that's cute.
Box.
It also has disease. God damn it!
A box of devouring.
That would be a sneaky fucking war ploy for Rofield, just saying.
So, the lid has no teeth, thankfully.
Yeah.
As it opens and spreads apart, there's no tongue in there, none like that. What Alaric got for Shilda is, at first glance, It looks like some kind of prospecting kit with a little rock pickaxe, digging chisels, a musette bag, and several brushes for gold and jewel panning. They all seem secondhand to some level, like it's been used before, but they're very high quality, and they're all tied with leathering to keep it all tightly packed for transportation.
She'd look up at him, and then she'd compare it to her kit.
The kits are not one for one. And aside from this sort of obvious wear of your own kit, having had it for however long that you have, there is still a definite quality to this. It's very easy to tell that this at least comes from, like, the seat of a High Lord.
Oh.
It's like that antique property that it's like worn, but obviously so well made that it adds character to it.
And it's for precision work as well. Even the little pickaxes, being tiny, they're for tiny little like puncture points on the rock. So I wouldn't say it's all the pieces match hers. It's more complementary to what she already has, right?
Thank you, Alaric. I can shine up those gems we found. Make them hopefully worth a little bit more.
Oh, well, that was not the plan. I wanted to give you something. No, the jeweler at the keep, he had it laying around, and I helped him with something, and he agreed to give me his. Well, he replaced it, right? He got a new one, and he had that one laying about, and I thought it'd be nice to bring it to you.
Listen, it's better than mine. I mean, the only way that I'd get anything better is if I would have stayed and took up my parents' work, and I appreciate it. I really do. And believe it or not, this is what I used to help craft these. And she'd show the bracelets with like the runes and everything on them that she makes for her spell crafting. So it is a very thoughtful gift, and I appreciate it.
His grin widens, and he nods eagerly, clasping his hands together. Well, good. All right. Next gift. He looks at everybody in a kind of dramatic preamble, and then rummages through his backpack again, his enormous sack backpack.
Alaric Santa Claus scene.
Alaric Claus.
That's right. Okay. So Alaric reaches in and pulls out by like a kind of silver chain what appears to be a pocket watch with a seal on the top, a lid. And he, rather than slide it being much more pristine and delicate, reaches across as he can to the other end of the table and sets it in front of Kellen. Motions to it. You have to open it.
I mean, okay, so first question, pocket watches being of mechanical, very precision work. I imagine this is pretty rare in Tyros.
You could even say it's not from Tyros.
I mean, it's like the likelihood of having seen one is probably not common.
Correct.
Maybe-
Did you get that?
Especially,
Maybe
I
heard of
don't
it.
imagine that Kellen has spent a lot of time either in Thurkin's Deep or in Bogladir.
Yeah, probably not.
Okay, so yeah.
It's all like, it tells what? I just look at the sun. What is this sorcery? He looks down at it and kind of with a brow raised and, okay. It's not going to explode, is it?
No,
No.
it is one of Alagar's. You pull the little lid on the side, and the cap comes off. And in it is a clock. Do it.
You fit a whole clock in here. And
Whole clock.
Oh,
must
by
be
the gods.
magic.
Would I know what this thing is, being from Tharkin's Deep?
You want my answer check?
She's doing
Difference
that in
between being a tinkerer and a jewel crafter. Yeah, this is a pocket watch.
Are these things common in Carissa?
Absolutely.
I thought so. Yuria, who's been sort of watching this with polite, if somewhat sort of distant attention, focusing more on the food and the self-pity of her complaining limbs, would sort of would quirk up at seeing this thing.
So, at a glance, this is definitely a beautiful piece of jewelry in the form of a disc. It shines in a, like I said, like a luster of silver, and it's burnished to a reflective sheen. And it has a kind of inlay pattern on its pop top, reminiscent of like a forest ticket, colored in a faded jade-like green that meshes well with the silver. So it's beautiful.
It's primarily made of silver. I'm
Yes.
writing these down. So. Okay. So yeah, he'll open the top. I'm assuming it like kind of turns it over a few times before he figures out that you got to push a little buttony doohickey, and then when it flips open, he'll look inside.
It doesn't just flip open. The whole weight of the compass watch makes it like jolt in place, and it readjusts. And beneath the needle that tells time, the various needles that do, there is another magnetic red needle underneath that points to the cardinal north. So it also acts as a compass.
So it's a compass and a clock?
And a pocket watch, yes.
A cum clock, one might say.
And Alaric is hovering over Kellen's shoulder, looking down at it. And he brings about this chubby finger that points at the top where the arrow is, looking to Kellen with this shit-eating grin. Do you know what this is?
I'm afraid not, although you said it tells time. And then as he turns it, if it rotates like a compass was, and it's a magnetic compass.
That's right. Tells you where the north is, and tells you time.
That is quite a gift, are you sure?
Of course I'm sure. I remember you complaining down in that ugly facility. You couldn't tell, the time couldn't tell which way north was. And I thought that if we ever must go underground again, this will guide you. And if not, well, at least you'll think of me.
You're right about that. This is quite useful. Very beautiful, besides.
Alaric sets this hardy paw on his back, this hefty pat, before moving around the table again.
Shelly, did you mean to use a charge of your warden's ointment?
No, I was trying to add on the jeweler's tools onto my character sheet.
Grabs ointment, starts moisturizing.
Moisturize me!
Continue.
Now, Kellen, of course, it is very delicate. It is not robust like most things we have around here, so take good care of it.
I will keep it protected.
I'm not sure if there's anybody who could fix something like that around here.
Best not to take the chance.
He nods, and
Thank you, Alaric. Frankly, don't know what to say other than thank you.
you've done more than enough for me. Let me do something for you. That's how I see it.
I will continue to try to do what I can.
Alaric claps the table, gives him this return grin, and then sets off to mess with the backpack again, working back the flap and rummaging. I believe that is Morana. Yeah, So for this, Alaric requires to slide in both arms into his back, down to the elbows, and there's some shaking, shuddering of its contents as he carefully lifts up this very ornate box full of, as he pulls the lid open and sets it in front of Morana, large vials, and medium-sized and little others, all in stackable rows, each with a cork topper and lace to better seal them and keep the liquid inside inert while in the box. It's somewhat rustic, but its varnish glistens, and it has a kind of fretwork on the lid that is, it's reminiscent of like a dark and twisted black walled, like a forest thicket but without leaves. And each vial is held in place by a wire grid, holding them, like I said, in a row-like pattern. And this is for your medicine, or whatever it is you need to store.
Oh,
She kind of goes through and starts like looking at the little glasses and going through it, checking each of the sizes.
oh. Well, I don't know if we'll be back to Malgrove anytime soon for the medicine, but this will be useful. Collecting samples and, well, gods forbid another basilisk. How very practical.
I suppose, but when it came to mind, I hoped it'd be something more personal, but if you'd like to use it that way, well, it's yours.
In terms of mechanics, you have 6 vials now.
All right, I just get to add more.
I love containers.
How are you filling them? What are you filling them with?
A basilisk vial, mostly.
Probably.
That actually works perfectly because there's like 12 small ones at the bottom row, there's 6 medium ones in the middle row, and there's 3 large ones on top. So you could splice that in half and make it just be like the sum of what liquid it fills, kind of like fills out the row, rather than them just being all those vials put together, you know?
How long can Morano go without, being hungry?
That's a wonderful
You're gonna find out.
I don't want to find out.
You're gonna find out.
She goes to eat
Too
like,
late.
some sausage links, and then she just rips on Silverill's neck.
Wait.
You survived one day.
We've got a little whiteboard that we have to erase.
Oh boy, breakfast! Grab Silver.
I will mark that down as a collection
Leans
kit.
into racing.
Ooh, look, the Trojans are gifting themselves watches. Ooh, how cute.
How pedestrian. Continue, Alec.
Tapping with his finger the lid itself, Alaric motions to the wiring of the grid that holds the vials. He gives it a little shake, shows how the vials jostle, but whatever would be in them wouldn't move with them. Rather, it like exactly in place, regardless of the movement that hits the box. Now this you could take through anything. If you're running, climbing, doesn't matter. No matter how much you shake it, the liquid remains inert. That's the point of these.
Morana is like very much like nodding with approval. Like she's seen things like this. Hell, she even had one before Haynes Keep became a little bit flooded.
He ain't kept it.
Yeah.
The alchemist
So-
kept it. Smile.
Yeah. So that box was gone. So having a new one to replace that, and one of very fine make, I assume.
Yep.
Is quite welcome.
Roleplay among yourselves. I'll be back.
So he steeples his fingers together, looming over Marana, her gift.
She's very much, again, sort of like a kid given, you know, a set of Legos, very much like taking things out, putting them back, kind of tapping on the glass, looking at it, being vague.
She died.
Dead. Death has claimed her.
Oh, can you hear me?
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Hello?
she's back.
Hello? Oh, my Discord was flashing that it was picking me up, but it wasn't. Okay, fantastic. But yeah, no, Marana is kind of going through it like a kid given a new Lego set. She's taking them out, kind of testing them,
Of course.
giving it a little like shake herself, tapping on the glass a little bit,
Watching
being
them how they
somewhat
slide into each harness, right? Fading and whatnot.
And being vaguely familiar with alchemical things, even if just in passing, seems to give it a very affirming nod of approval when looking back over her shoulder at Alaric.
This is a very thoughtful gift, Alaric. Thank you.
Enjoy it. And I had much time to think on it, so I hope it serves. And much like with Kellen, perhaps not as as hard. He'd pat her back and then move back. Once again, Alaric will sort through his pack, and we'll see what we get. Yeah, so this time around, it's an easy find given that most of the heavy contents have been removed. And Alaric, he pulls out what looks to be a padded length of fur. As he splays it open on the table, he reveals that it's a down-filled, coif-like length of fabric, sized to a rough estimate of Juria's head, as he's quite literally judging it by hovering it on two plucking fingers besides hers. You know what this is, Yuria?
She takes a moment to examine this piece. You said it's a coif?
Yes.
What's it look like?
It's essentially fur lining for her helmet, so it would go underneath. And it's down-filled with felt. So it's very warm and comfortable to the touch on the inside.
She kind of looks at it a moment. You can tell it's definitely caught her off guard. Like gingerly, she reaches out, sort of feeling the fur with her fingers. What kind of fur is it?
It is wolf fur. And it is black. And it is being very treated, oiled. It has a kind of shine and is very soft to the touch. And underneath it is felt.
Interesting. She was very hesitant with this gift, but as she sort of feels the softness of it, she seems to her interest seems to catch. She gingerly picks it up. It's like some sort of hat.
No,
Okay.
no. It is like a hood, but it layers to your head, and you can slide on your helmet. It's just I recalled you getting cold. This would keep you warm.
Oh, I see. You see, her helmet, which is sort of always with her, at the moment resting on the bench next to her hip. She would pull it up, flip it, so that the hole would be facing up. And you can see she's sort of judging how the coif might fit in the helmet. And you can tell the helmet, it's not a large thing. It almost seems built for her head. Nevertheless, she sort of pads the rim of the helmet and then sort of tests it. And it seems to... you can see she tries to adjust it a little bit until it sort of fits comfortably. Rolls her head around, testing it. Practical.